What are you looking for specifically?
Oh,
Big mane
yeah,
all the way
big
down?
mane, big body, and the way they walk, and you're sort of looking at their horns a bit, but you're only trying to see whether if they really stand out.
And what's a good age? Is 10 plus what you're looking for?
Oh, 6 and up.
6 and up.
Yeah, 8 ideally.
So it's incredible, this day and age of social media. You get to meet people halfway around the world. Snow Hewetson is one of them. 3 years ago, we climbed into the whole battle against DOC and their eradication plan for tar. And I got introduced to Snow. I got introduced to a bunch of New Zealanders. And he was just this, all I can describe him as like this gentleman who absolutely loved the idea of tar being on the landscape in New Zealand. He completely recognized that you cannot have hundreds of thousands of tar. You have to control the population. You have to control them through management, hunting, and yes, even helicopters. But there was a way to do it. And the way that the government was approaching it, Snow didn't like it. He was the chairman of the Tar Foundation at the time. And he decided to take the fight to the government. And he raised hundreds of thousands of dollars and took them to court. And got what they wanted. They did not want the cull to occur all at one time, but do it over successive years.
Think you can fit in there?
Yeah.
Let's see your driving skills.
Is there any around the corner?
On a camera. I don't know. Have a look. The real deal.
You'll see why when you see where we're going.
Mike, what you're saying, my little Mitsubishi's not going to get there?
No, you
all right?
won't get there. How you do?
Good, man. Good. Little Mitsubishi, the orange Ninja is not going to make it?
No, 17 river crossings, that won't cut it.
17 river crossings?
Yeah.
That's what we're going to go through?
Yep.
Unbelievable.
And so we wanted to come here to see Snow, to get to know him, to understand what makes him tick, to really understand his heart, because his heart is in this landscape. And what we're finding is these New Zealanders that are connected to the land, they have a relationship with the land. They have a relationship with the animals. And they really are they just love it.
So if I hunt that, I'll go up onto that little point on that ridge and then glass and
Which
draw
little
that.
point?
This ridge that runs down in here. So
This one right
yeah,
here?
There's a little knob on there.
That one right there?
Yeah, you
That
go straight up this on the edge of that scrub, you go straight up that ridge and to that point, and then glass into all that gut.
My first ancestors came to New Zealand on a wooden ship in the 1840s, and when they landed in Nelson, and they just bailed over the side of the boat into the water and waded ashore and spent the night on the beach on the first night. The irony about my background is I think the really strong hunting connection that comes from me comes directly from my mother and my mother's family, because my mother grew up in a family where her dad hunted a lot for meat, and his boys, so all my uncles, all learnt to hunt for meat. Predominantly the meat that they ate would have been game meat. And we had a lot of that ourselves as kids, but we grew up on a dairy farm, so we had a lot of access to meat and milk, and we had pigs on the farm. So we're probably the first generation that didn't totally rely on game meat as a major part of what we needed to survive.
Have you seen tar from the hut before?
Yeah. I've seen a really big bull walk past here once, and he went down there and he went into that scrub there and we just lost him.
Snow, talk about the issues of tar here in New Zealand.
I think there are a lot of people today opposed to the introduced species, but you've got to go back to the context of the time they were introduced in. And if we wound the clock back and we were sitting here today and you put the camera in and you said, look at these mountains and there's no animals here, to me, the mountains would be dead. to me, the animals, the wildlife, bring life to the mountains. And so I think that bringing them here was totally the right thing to do. Even today, with all the efforts to control them, and there are some people who would want to see them exterminated, I'm totally opposed to that. I'm totally aware and in total agreement that they should be managed. They need to be managed because they are capable of breeding to levels where they will damage the environment, and to have a healthy, sustainable animal, you've got to have a healthy, sustainable environment. And I'm all on board with that. I just would like to see that hunting is a big part of that and plays a big role in that, the predominant role. If it gets to the point where the numbers need to be lowered and it needs to be done with helicopters, then that should still be done commercially so that carcasses are recovered and they're not just left to rot. They're too valuable an animal and everything about them. The meat is too good, the skins and capes and things is too valuable to be wasted. And there are a lot of people like me who, once you've been here and hunted in this country and seen them, you're just captivated by them. And if someone was to try and take that off us, and that has happened, I will fight you every step of the way. I will not let you do that without a fight, because they mean too much to me. It's been too big a part of my life, and I've had too much enjoyment out of it. And again, that's not just the animal, that's the environment and the people and the places, but the animal is he's the goal at the end of it. He's what it's all about. Without him, none of that other would exist. So yeah, he's the incentive to be here and do this stuff.
And we were privileged to experience who Snow is, get to know what makes him tick, but most importantly, follow him through this landscape that he loves so much. And that was a privilege for me.
The Tahr represent an extraordinary journey and adventure in my life, been a huge part of my life. Once I saw them for the first time and became exposed to Tahr and Tahr hunting, the country and that just captivated me, and well, I kind of can't get enough of it. It's an addiction really, it really is. It's something that if I'm not doing it, I'm thinking about the next time I'm going to be doing it or thinking about past trips. Still got to get across there and into there, so once we're on there we'll just see what they're doing and we can make a decision to go that way or that way from there. Okay. Those two like that, they're already starting that parallel walking and dominating sort of carry on, so there's enough nannies there. That should mean that they will stay there, they won't move off. Probably one of the things that I reflect back on, and I'm doing a lot of reflecting lately because of my age and the time that I've been involved in this stuff and the history of it. So when I first started hunting tahr was in the early 80s, and I was probably only in my early 20s, and I've been hunting them for 40 years now. And if I reflect back on how I felt about them then and when I first saw them, a big concern for me was, would they still be here in the years to come? Because there's always been this threat and there's always been people who wanted to remove them from the environment. And I always had concerns about that, so I was always keen to become involved in the fight to preserve them and learning more about them. Here we're on a south-facing slope, so it doesn't really dry out. When you get up on the stuff like that, it gets more of the sun and dries out. There's less tussock there just because it's drier, harder country. It's nothing to do with the tahr.
Yeah.
There's tons of feed here. And one of the things I reflect on today is I would have been really satisfied then for someone to have said to me where I would have gotten to today, and the animals are still here and they're more valued and more people know about them, and particularly worldwide. Of all the game animals in New Zealand, they're probably, other than the red stag, the most widely known. And I'm pretty satisfied with that, and I'm really satisfied to have been a part of that. It's still, like I say, it's still evolving and is the dawning of a new day, and is kind of what happens now and what happens going forward, it's looking like it's going the right way and things are looking positive, but it has to continue along that path. But I'm happy where it is, and I'm quietly confident that in the years to come, future generations will be able to do what I can do, and that's been a big motivator for me.
What do you think, Snow? He's only 267 away. So. Yeah. He's already seen us. Yeah.
When you actually get one down on the ground for the first time and a client's approaching them, I always say to them, have a good smell of it, because it will amaze you, it will surprise you. There's nothing quite like it. It's almost like, and I liken it to being a perfume, like a musk type of smell. I find it a very pleasant smell, and most people do. There are a few who don't, and sometimes you'll get a bull who's deep in the rut and will smell a bit strong, but it's it's a very unique smell, and it's really not what you would expect. It's one of the things I say to clients is every now and again go and sniff the mane on the bull on your trophy on the wall, or if you carry it out and the scent is on your coat, don't wash your coat. Peter Ryan, the author, talks about leaving it on your coat, hanging on the hook, and when you walk past the door, taking a sniff, and it just takes you back to that time on the mountain and where you were, because there's nothing quite like sense of smell to jog your memory and take you right back to a certain time. And that aroma of tar is nothing else quite like it, and if you've never smelled it, it will surprise you. I'm not a millionaire, and I've not been able to do a lot of the things I'd love to have been able to do, but I actually feel like I've led a full life, and I've actually got a lot of satisfaction out of what I've done. My wife and my family are my biggest achievement and the thing that I'm most proud of, but other than that, and the fact that they've let me come away and do this stuff for myself has been huge for me, and I really appreciate that my whole family has always been behind me. So all of those things, I feel like I've led a full life. If something happened to me tomorrow, I'd like people to say, actually, he lived his life doing what made him happy, and pretty much I have. I went hunting too much, probably, and spent too much time hunting and too much income on hunting, and maybe I should have saved more money and built more of a legacy, but if I had it all over again, I'd do the same thing again. I'm pretty sure I would.
Tahr mean a lot to you, hey?
Yeah, they do. Well, yeah. I was born a hunter, like. My name is Snow Hewetson. I'm the husband to a wonderful wife, the father of 4 great kids. Everyone has their own story. This is mine. It's in the blood.
Money! Nailed it. Nailed it.
That's why I like going hunting. No one's telling me what to do. I just do my thing.
Sit down, sit down, sit down.